All right, what does it want to do? Hi. Well, it looks like I've had a few problems this evening. One, it's been so long since we've read together that I forgot we actually read at 7:30, not 7. And two, I couldn't get my computer to come on anyway. So, not sure if anybody's going to join us at 7 tonight, but I hope so. I'm going to start with, Twisted Tales. I like this book. It's like a Halloween fairy tale. And it's 3 twisted stories. Home Sweet Home. Everyone thinks they know the story of Hansel and Gretel. But here's the real story. First, I am not a witch. And I did not want a candy house to catch children. This house was just the only one left. Hey, Haley! Sorry I'm early. I got messed up on the time. Glad you could join. Reading Twisted Tales. Those 3 pigs got the last good ones. Straws, sticks, bricks, not candy. That is just dumb. It's like a Halloween fairy tale. I'm going to scoot the laptop over a little more out of that sun. Does that make the picture better? Not really. Maybe like, there we go. That's a little bit better. Hey, Blaine. Hi. Glad you could join us. I thought you might be at baseball practice tonight. We just tuned in to Twisted Tales. This is not working. Hold on. Man. Still not working. That sun is seriously bright. All right, we'll try this. Okay, let me start over since the 2 of you are here. Everyone thinks they know the story of Hansel and Gretel, but here's the real story. First, I am not a witch, and I did not want a candy house to catch children. This house was just the only one left. Those 3 pigs got the last good ones. Straw, sticks, bricks, not candy. That is just dumb. It did look pretty, but everyone wanted to eat it. Cats, mice, birds, even my dog. I was always fixing my house, but I did not mind so much, that is, until those kids came along. The story says they were left in the woods because their parents could not feed them. I'm sorry, children. And that they ate my house because they were so hungry. Ha! The truth is, their parents would not let them eat sweets. So when they saw my house, well, they thought, dessert. Kind of like you guys with the cookies in our room. First, they ate the windows. Then they tore off the shingles. When they ate my front door, it was the last straw. I love candy. Me too. Who's Brett Smith? Abby? Is that you, Abby? Now we're thinking about candy, aren't we, Haley? The story says I tried to fatten them up. Ha! They fattened themselves up. And it says I locked the boy away. Not true. Time out. I locked them both away until their parents got there. Well, we all learned a lesson that day. Their parents learned it was okay to sometimes eat dessert. Ta-da! The kids learned not to eat anyone's house without permission again. And I learned to never, ever live in a house made of food. She's telling the realtor, no, thank you. Hi, Abby. Best of all, Hansel and Gretel's father decided to build me a house. He's a woodsman, you know. Sometimes I miss my old house. Never had to get out of bed when I wanted a snack. But these days, nobody wants to eat my house anymore. Well, almost no one. What'd you think? Oh, for heaven's sakes, Blaine. Oh, by the way, I told you that Dublin was up sick all night, which meant I was up most of the night taking care of him. Okay, I don't have my webcam tonight, Blaine, so I can't just put it anywhere. Debbie, come here. Come here, Dublin. Come here. The kids want to see you. Come here. Come here, big boy. Put your paws up here. Load. Load. Come on. Come on. Put your paw up here. That's a good pupper. Oops. Okay, hang on. Get rid of that. Okay. Say hi. He's not feeling good, Blaine. I'm going to have to bake him some chicken tonight. Okay, well, do we want to read one more Twisted Tale, or do we want to start on Seekers? Oh, the special guest. Oh, I guess I did say there was going to be a special guest, didn't I? Well, I guess we could go ahead and start Seekers and see if the special guest arrives, maybe. Let's see. What was happening the last time we read, which seems like 100 million years ago? Okay, it wasn't really 100 million years ago. That's hyperbole. Let's see. We read. Okay, so Kalik. Kalik followed that one bear into where the humans were living. And she reached a den and she smelled the food. Slumped to the and that bear was killed right in front of her. And then the person who killed that bear is pointing the same death stick right at her. And then we were reading about Lusa. Lusa was out of the bear bowl, and she was in the middle of flat faces as well. She was too tired to keep walking. So it was daylight, so she had to hide out. And she finally fell down with exhaustion, waiting or going to sleep in the little den that she found. So let me put these books down here, get all snuggled in, and let's see if a special guest comes in. I don't know. Maybe.
Hello.
Oh, hi, Delilah. So glad you're here. Perfect timing. We've got the sun right in the way. This is Brock.
Nice to meet you all.
Okay. And so who we have on here, we have Abby.
Hi, Abby.
And we have Haley.
Hello, Haley.
And we have Blaine, who always wants to see Dublin. And Abby does too. And we have Delilah.
Hi, Delilah.
And so hopefully some more people will join us. So, Brock, do you remember this book?
I do. I read it a long time ago.
Who did you read it with?
It was read to me.
Yeah, like we're reading it now. So I thought it would be cool since I used to read to him. Maybe he could read to you. I know the sunlight's terrible.
What's Devlin doing?
I don't know where we could move. Did he leave?
Devlin?
Yeah.
He's just laying up there.
All right. Let's see. How's that?
Ooh, that's pretty good.
Okay. Why don't you start here?
Right there?
Mhm.
All right. The sound of her stomach growling woke her up shortly after dark. She had never been this hungry before. It was as if someone had scooped out her insides with a giant paw. Lucy scrambled up and poked her nose outside, sniffing for danger. As far as she could tell, there was no flat faces or strange animals around. But she did smell something else, something very tempting.
Mm.
She followed her nose through the tangled vines to the side of the flat-faced den. The scent was coming from 2 large cans next to the wall, a bit like the ones the feeders brought her food in. Lucy crept up to them on silent paws. She rested her forepaws on the edge of one of the cans, poking her muzzle inside. A wave of delicious, peculiar, startling scents hit her nose. Lucy nosed through crinkly things, sharp things, and fluffy things until she found a mouthful of meat. It tasted a little sour, but it was better than nothing. She had also found some rotten bits of banana and scraps of bread farther down, where she had to lean in to dig them out. As she dug her...
Blaine says he's so excited to see you, B-Rock.
Hello, Blaine.
So funny for Brock to read.
Why is that funny? I'm a good reader.
Okay.
It tasted a little sour, but it was better than nothing. She also found some rotten bits of banana and scraps of bread farther down, where she had to lean in to dig them out. As she dug her paws into the can, it tipped over with a crash, scattering its contents everywhere. Lucy looked up and saw a light come on outside the den. A flat-faced roar sounded from inside. It didn't sound like a friendly roar from an animal that would appreciate her taking food from its cans. Lucy raced to the fence, hauled herself over, and ran down the road. She didn't stop running until the overgrown place was far, far behind her. When she finally slowed down, she noticed that nearly every flat-faced den along the path had the same big silver cans stacked outside. She padded past them, sniffing, until she found a den with no fire beast crouched beside it. Cautiously, she opened the cans and stood up, sticking her nose inside. A thin white skin surrounded the contents, but she was able to slice through it with her claws, spilling more crinkly, shiny, crumpled things out into the can. She leaned in, resting her weight on the edge of the can, and toppled it over, clattering defensively on the path. Lucy sprang back in dismay. Beside her was a small tree, and although it wasn't as tall as bare bole trees, it was still a place to hide. She scrambled up and clung to a top branch, waiting.
Okay, hang on a second. That reminds me, guys, I know that you won't let me forget if I tell you now. I have gotten some video of bears, and I keep forgetting to show you every day, so don't let me forget after we take our test in the morning, okay?
Nothing happened. No flat faces came out to yell at her. After waiting a long time, Lucy snuck back down and started pawing through the mess that had fallen out of the tipped-over can. Some of the things she thought were food were horrible. She bit down on one black lump and spat it out again immediately, wiping her tongue in disgust.
Hang on, I'm wondering what that is. Some of the things she thought were food were horrible. She bit down on one black lump and spat it out again. What do you think that might be? I think it's a charcoal brick, but that's just
what I was thinking.
Is that what you were thinking? Oh, great minds right here. Okay.
She gobbled them up and licked her paws clean afterwards. She thought they might be the most delicious things she'd ever eaten. The next morning, she hid in a small wooded area where leafy bushes concealed her from the flat-faced cubs that raced around playing during the day. When she continued walking the next night, she kept the Bear Snout Mountain in sight and headed toward it as much as she could. Although she often had to veer around large flat-faced dens to avoid bright lights or the sound of the barking and screeching animals. If this was living in the wild, she couldn't understand why King had been so worried or grumpy about talking about it. It was easy. She had food and places to shelter, and she knew which way to go. On the third night, when she awoke, clouds were hanging low over everything, shrouding the world in fog. She couldn't see the stars or the mountain anymore. She could barely see her paws in front of her. The air hung heavily around her, clinging to her fur and leaving damp droplets on her muzzle. Lucy was too nervous to go on without the sight of the bear watcher or the mountain in front of her, so she dug herself deeper into the hollow under the tree roots and waited, restless and hungry, for the sky to clear.
You guys think you would like to sleep one night inside of a den of a tree? It'd be kind of cool. A little scary.
The fog continued all night, in the morning shifting to rain that left Lucy dripping, cold, and unhappy. But finally it cleared, and she stuck her nose out into a damp mist shortly before sunset. Ahead of her, the bulk of the mountain loomed against the darkening sky. She padded toward it until she came to the edge of a large, flat-faced path, wider than any of the ones she had crossed before. It smelled strongly of the fire beasts, and even as she was standing there, one of them roared past. Lucy shivered. This path was clearly their territory. She paced back and forth, sniffing the air and scratching at the dirt with her paws. She needed to keep going towards the mountain, but in order to do that, she'd have to cross the fire beast path. Finally, she decided to travel along the path and hoped she found a safe place to cross further up. She padded along in the shadows, ducking into the bushes whenever a fire beast roared by. There were a lot of them at first, but as the night wore on, she saw fewer and fewer. It was close to moon high, and the low clouds were starting to break up like shredded spider webs when Lucy smelled something that might be food. She hadn't eaten yet that night because the flat-faced dens along this stretch of path were too brightly lit and full of noise, and she was terrified to approach them. But this smell was coming from somewhere close by. She stood on her hind legs and took a long, deep sniff. It was coming from the path. She dropped to all fours and walked a little farther, until she spotted something on the ground in the center of the path. From the scent, she guessed that it was the salty potato sticks she'd tasted before.
Hang on, what do you think the salty potato sticks are? Think McDonald's. French fries, probably. Okay.
Did she dare step onto the path? She hadn't seen a fire beast in a long time. Perhaps they had all gone somewhere to sleep. Lucy stepped tentatively onto the path. She waited, her whole body tensed, but she couldn't feel the rumbling of an approaching fire beast. The air was silent, with the faintest breeze drifting through the light fog. She took another false step, and then another, and soon she was racing across the path to the discarded food. To her delight, it was a crumpled carton of the potato sticks with several left at the bottom. She pinned it down with her paw and stuck her muzzle into the carton as far as it would go, licking up the salt with her long tongue. A large fire beast was hurtling towards her, its eyes blazing with fury. Lucy bolted to the side of the path just as the fire beast hurtled by. As she leapt onto the grass at the edge, she felt a sharp pain stab into her paw. Whimpering, she crept under some bushes and sat down, lifting up her forepaws to see what was hurting her. One of her paws had something sharp and glittery sticking out of it, and blood was trickling from the wound. Lucy blinked, feeling ill and anxious. It wasn't a thorn, but it felt sharp like that. It looked like the clear, shiny stuff she had seen in the flat-faced dens, and it hurt.
What do you think it is?
She crouched there for a moment, staring at her paw and wondering what to do. What would King do, or Oka?
Okay. So Blaine, the fire beasts, you don't remember what they are?
Oh, that's a point.
Huh? Ooh, Delilah, yes, girl. Brock was kind of impressed with that, weren't you, buddy? Mm-hmm. Yes, the thing that hurt Lucy's paw was glass. Good job, Delilah. Okay, Blaine, the fire beasts are the cars that go on the black path. Okay? All right.
They would be brave. They would fix themselves and keep going. She put her teeth around the sharp object and tugged it free from her paw. As it came loose, a gush of blood followed it, and Lucy felt dizzy. She shook her head, gritting her teeth, and began to lick her paw. To her relief, the flow of blood slowed and then stopped, and her paw felt a little bit better. But when she tried to stand on it, the pain sliced through her again. She would have to find somewhere safe to hide until it had a chance to heal.
That reminds me of today when one of you guys stabbed me. I don't know who it was.
Be nice to my mom.
Yeah.
It's the only one I got. She put her teeth...
no. Oops, sorry.
No. She told me wrong. It's not my fault. The mist clung to her fur as she limped out of the bush, heading for an open, grassy space not far from the fire beast path. It wasn't as sheltered as some of the enclosures she had been in, but the grass was very tall, almost as tall as her, and there were 3 trees growing close together at the far end, near a fence. Lucy curled up in the roots of one of the trees and went back to licking her paw. She stayed there for 3 days until she could walk again. During the day, she could hear the fire beasts roaring and racing past. She wondered if she had made them angry by stealing food from their territory. She hoped they wouldn't come off the path to look for her. Luckily, there didn't seem to be many flat faces in the area. She did see several of the furry, screeching animals stalking through the grass, but they could smell her there, and they still stayed well clear of her hiding place. She felt weak from hunger and pain. Everything is going wrong. How could she ever make it to the Bear Snout Mountain, let alone find Toklo once she got there? At least she could still see the bear watcher from her hiding spot. It was comforting to know the star was still watching her.
Okay, wasn't it funny just a few paragraphs back, she was like, this is so easy being out in the wild. What was Kingsdale? And now all of a sudden she's like, hey, this is hard.
I think she figured it out.
Hey, Brock, do you remember reading this when you were younger?
Yeah.
About their age?
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about how funny we think it is that she thinks the fire beasts are like animals that are alive.
Mm-hmm.
Did we ever talk about that?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Just
I
curious.
think we did. On the night Lusa was ready to resume traveling, the sky was covered in clouds and she couldn't see any stars at all. She sat up, pointing her nose at the spot where she was sure the bear watcher would be, but she couldn't see it. Somehow she knew she was looking in the right place. It was like a tug in her fur, nudging her that way. Just then, the clouds drifted apart, and for a heartbeat, the bear watcher beamed down from the dark blue sky. It vanished again almost at once, but that was enough for Lusa. As long as she knew where the star would be, she wouldn't get lost. She climbed to her paws, gingerly testing her sore paw. It still ached when she leaned on it, but she took a few steps and decided that she could walk at least a little way. Now that she had her sense of where the bear watcher was, she wanted to keep going. She climbed over the fence and headed towards the mountain and the star again. She'd been walking for a short while when a light rain started to fall, filling the air with a clean, fresh scent. There were fewer flat faces dens in the direction. The ones she saw were surrounded by wide expanses of grass, and there were short stretches of woodland in between them. The growling murmur of the fire beast faded the further she walked. She liked the quiet, but it also made her a little nervous. She wasn't sure how she was going to find food once she left the flat-faced dens behind.
This is a long chapter.
The rain lifted close to dawn, and Lusa sneezed, shaking her soaked fur. Achoo!
Ugh.
Everything around her smelled green and alive, and for once there were lots of places where she could hide. But first she wanted to find something to eat. The last meal she'd had was the potato sticks in the fire beast territory 3 days earlier. She was beginning to stumble with weariness and hunger. She trotted wearily over to the nearest flat-faced den. In the pink and gray early morning light, it looked quiet and closed up. Not a sound came from inside. She couldn't see any lights shining through the windows. A high wooded fence ran along the back and sides of the grassy enclosure, with tall trees just beyond it. Lusa sniffed around to the back of the den, where she found one of the silver cans. This one had a lid tightly stuck on it. She dug her claws under the rim and shoved at it with her front paws. The can tipped over easily, knocking off the lid. The clatter was fairly loud, but still nothing seemed to move inside the den. Maybe the flat faces were out hunting for prey. She stuck her muzzle inside the can and scrabbled out a small skin stuffed with things. She ripped open the skin and spread the contents out around her, sniffing each one. Something rattled behind her, and Lusa spun around. Standing on the back steps of the den was a male flat-faced cub. He looked like the flat-faced cubs who had often visited her at the bear bowl. Perhaps if she danced for him, he would throw her fruit, like her feeders used to. Her mouth watered at the thought of blueberries. Feeling hopeful, Lusa stood up onto her hind legs and battered at the air with forepaws. The flat-faced cub screamed. Startled, Lusa fell backwards. Her ears were still ringing as she scrambled back to her feet. The door of the den slammed open, and a large male flat-face stormed out, shouting and waving his paws. In one of them, he held a long metal stick, and he swung it around to point it at her. Lusa realized that it looked like a feeder, like the ones the furry feeders had used to send her and her mother to sleep. She turned and raced for the nearest fence. She didn't want to be sent to sleep. With a huge leap, she sank her claw into the wood and scrambled up to the top. Just as she was hauling herself over, a bang went off behind her, and the edge of the fence near her exploded into splinters. Lusa lost her balance and tumbled onto the other side, knocking the wind out of herself as she landed. Painfully, she climbed upright again and limped into the woods. She wasn't sure what had just happened, but she suspected that it was the metal stick that had hit her instead of the fence. She might have been the one exploding into bits. She found a hollow between two trees and crawled into it, shivering. Part of her wanted to stay in there forever. This wasn't how her journey was meant to be. Maybe King was right, and she should have stayed in the bear bowl. The other part of her knew she should keep moving as soon as it was dark again. She needed to get to the forest and the mountain. Once she was truly in the wild, away from the flat faces, she knew there would still be dangers. But she couldn't believe they would be as scary as what she'd faced so far. Lusa slept all day, and then when night fell, she had to force herself to leave the hollow. Another flat-faced den was only a few bear lengths away from the trees, but she didn't want to go to risk another attack from a spitting stick. She would get to the forest, and then she would start looking for food again. She wove through the trees until she came to a path where she stopped and looked up at the night sky. Her breath caught in her throat. There were so many stars. She'd never known there were so many up there. The orange glow of lights around the bear bowl and among the flat-faced dens must have hidden them. But out here, there was much more darkness, and she could see all the tiny stars glittering clearly in the pure black sky. Thousands of stars, she breathed. Now she could see the stars from Stella's stories. She could see the little black bear that had the bear watcher in her tail, and the big brown bear that chased her around the sky. That little bear had to be brave, and so did she. Lusa padded along, keeping her eyes on the dark shape of the mountain ahead of her. She ran across the patches of short grass, through stands of trees, behind quiet, flat-faced dens. She walked all night. And then at last, just as the sun was sending trickles of pale gold sneaking over the horizon, Lusa crossed one final stone path and looked up to see the slope of the mountain rising above her. Ahead of her stretched a forest for as far as she could see, touching the ends of the sky and climbing up the mountain. The trees were vast, gigantic, so much bigger than the spindly trees in the bear bowl. Lusa could believe that this was where bear spirits came when they died. Already she thought she could hear their whispers in the soft breeze that rustled the leaves. She stood at the edge of the forest and looked up into its branches. "It's me, Lusa," she whispered to the tree spirits. "I'm here."
So, Brock, are you remembering this story now?
Absolutely.
And did you really like this story?
I love this story. It's a good one.
And so what did you like so much about it?
I like the verbiage in it. I like all of
You might need to explain.
I know, I'm about to.
Sorry.
I like the way that they choose words that we don't usually think of whenever they're talking about things that we use every day.
Yeah, like flat faces and fire beasts and the black path and the long straw fries or the long potato sticks. Yeah. Yeah, cool. All right. What do you guys like about Seekers? I see you have some questions for Brock too.
I think we have to look at Dublin again before the end.
Yes, we do. Haley, is something wrong with you? Got all these question marks. Are you having a hard time communicating? Oh, Delilah, you like all of it. So Brock, do you want to tell Blaine how old you are?
I am 20 years old.
As of May 2nd. So he just turned 20. He's no longer a teenager, folks. They know I'm old. And then he wants to know when you were born.
I was born in 1999.
1999. Do you guys even know what that feels like? Nope. You were in the 2000s. All right. Do you have any more questions for Brock? Because I know all of you little dumplings have to get to bed early tonight because we have a big test in the morning. And Blaine agrees with you.
Enthusiasm.
Oh, speaking of enthusiasm, Brock, Haley is full of enthusiasm. They all gave their speeches last night. Let's see. Blaine wasn't able to make it. His speech was, he was trying to persuade people that kids should be spies. And he had some very good points. I thought it was a really interesting, persuasive piece. He still hasn't turned it in. I'm not sure if he finished it, but hopefully we'll see that tomorrow. Haley's was she was trying to convince you that a betta fish is the best fish. Delilah and Abby both chose to stop abusing animals. And so as you could see on here, Delilah was sad about the bear because she's kind of got a big heart for animals.
I agree that betta fish are the best fish.
And Haley is very knowledgeable about them. She gave us a lot of information.
I would do a handstand if I could, Blaine.
All right. I'm going to read one more twisted tale to you. Brock's going to go. I don't know what he's going to go do. He's really busy now that he's out of school.
Probably going to pet my dog first. I can do that on camera, though. Debbie. Hey, come here.
See if you can get him up here. I haven't been able to. He acts like he's like that's going to be a lot of work for him.
Come on, let's go. Come on, big boy. Come on. Oh, yeah. Come on.
Oh, I know what I want you to do, Brock. I want you to go get a picture of your new puppy that's coming. Oh, you got it. Of course, his phone is never far. Look, Dublin knows. He knows it's a new puppy. He's like, get that puppy out of here. I'm the puppy. Is it so cute, you guys?
That'll be here soon
Cute.
for you guys to see.
And, well, hopefully. And he's going to name him Simon.
Yes.
Simon. Okay. Oh, Abby wants to know your favorite color.
My favorite color is blue.
What's your favorite color, Abby? I know, Blaine, right? Okay, I'm going to pick up Twisted Tales.
It was good to talk to you. Be good for my mom, all right?
Yeah, because I tell him all about every single one of you.
This is true.
Okay.
You gonna stay up here?
Abby says, Simon says. She's a clever girl. All right, back to that horrible sunlight. It just won't go down. Okay, so we're going to read one more. We've read a lot of Little Red Riding Hoods. Let's see how this one is different than the rest. This is Babysitter Blues. Boom, 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 boom. Let me tell you the true story of Little Red Riding Hood. Seems like everybody has the true story of Little Red Riding Hood, and they're all different, right? Oh, look whose point of view we're hearing from. We're going to hear the true story of Little Red Riding Hood as seen through the point of view of the wolf. Okay? It was all a big mix-up. First of all, this did not happen. I was asked to come to her house. Are you free to babysit? Well, okay. Grandma had plans that night. Be 21. What's her plans? Brock just yelled bingo. Bingo! Woohoo! I was warned not to do it. She is a handful. You said it, sister. But I knew I could handle it. I read it twice, Babysitting 101. It started out okay. First we ate dinner. That is not nice, Red. Look what she's doing, flipping her peas at him. Then we played some games. Are you sure this is how to play jump rope? She tied him up. She seems a little ornery, doesn't she? Do you guys know anybody like that? Blaine, you get a good night's sleep too, buddy. Oh, Ruben, I'm so sorry. I did a terrible, terrible thing. I forgot that we start reading at 7:30. So we started at 7. And, well, it's not his fault, Blaine. Oh, Ruben. And so Brock.
Hello, Ruben.
Brock came and read to us, and Dublin visited. And, oh, Christian, wait, you got to come say hi to Christian as well.
Okay.
Christian, I'm sorry. I started early. Brock read our story tonight, so you can go back through and watch.
Hello, Christian.
Yeah, sorry. Okay, so we're reading Twisted Tales, the real story of Little Red Riding Hood as told by the wolf's point of view. We played hide and seek. Wow, I am good at this game. We had a pillow fight. Oh dear. Was I tired? But she was not. How about the quiet game? I don't think she's interested. Red had an idea. We would play dress up. You want me to wear what? You and Grandma wear the same size. I was to pretend to be Grandma. So I got in bed and pulled up the covers up to my chin. Okay, I'm ready. He's handsome like you, Reuben. Little Red said, Grandma, what big eyes you have. The better to see you with, my dear. And what big ears you have. The better to hear you with. And what big feet you have. And then what a big wallet you have. The better to treat you with. This is when things went wrong. A passing woodsman heard me. He thought I said the better to eat you with. Yikes, how embarrassing. Luckily, Grandma cleared it all up. Then we all had milk and cookies together. All is well that ends well. But the next time Grandma asked me to babysit, I told her to ask Mama Bear instead. Mama Bear said, sorry, I'm busy. You don't hear the story, Christian? We're having all kinds of problems, aren't we? Let's see. All right, guys. Well, I feel really bad, Christian and Reuben. But we've read a chapter of Seekers. I've read 2 stories, and it's really time for me to go get ready for bed. And llamas? The llamas aren't out tonight. Let me look. No llamas. Sorry. I'm sorry, Christian. I'm not mean. I feel bad. Oh, hey, but Brock, come and show them the picture of the puppy again, though. I will show you the picture of the puppy Brock's getting. And if he gets it before school's out, he said he would bring it up to show you.
Pretty cute.
Okay. Oh, Christian. All right, fine. I'll read one more story just because I feel guilty. You want to read it, Brock? It's a short one. Come read to them. Okay. All right. This is The Grass is Always Greener. Have we read the Billy Goat's Gruff? Ah, yes, we did. That was one of the first ones we read. I remember. Remember the 3 Billy Goats Gruff? And they try to walk over the bridge. And the monster down there is like, who's walking over my bridge?
Fee, fi, fo, fum.
No, that's Jack and the Beanstalk, Brock Douglas.
All right. This is where we're starting?
No, we're on this one.
Okay. The grass is always greener. I bet you think you know the story of the 3 Billy Goats Gruff. Here's the page we're looking at. But you do not. The story says I am a troll who lives under the bridge. Not true. It is not a troll bridge. It is a toll bridge, and I am not a troll.
Do you guys know what a toll bridge is? That's where you have to pay money to cross the bridge, and they use the money to build the bridge. Okay.
It also says that I like to eat goats. No way. Yuck. And that I am greedy. I want to eat you. But I am too small. You can eat my big brother instead. Okay?
He doesn't have a very good baby goat voice, does he?
I want to eat you. But I am too small. You can eat my big brother instead. Okay? I want to eat you. No, I will eat you. The truth is, I only like to eat peanut butter sandwiches, not goats. And I am not greedy. It is my job to take tolls on the bridge. On the other side of the bridge is a field of tasty grass. That will be 1 peanut butter sandwich, please. It doesn't look like a troll to me. So if anyone wanted to eat the grass or have a picnic, they had to pay the toll. I cut off the crust for you. Thank you, Mother Goose. All was fine until those 3 goats showed up. We love to eat grass. Yum, yum. That day, the little Billy Goat Gruff came along. That'll be 1 peanut butter sandwich, please. But he did not have a sandwich. I do not have a sandwich, but my brother will give you 2. All right. Then the medium Billy Goat Gruff came along. That will be 2 peanut butter sandwiches, please. He didn't have any sandwiches either. I don't have any sandwiches, but my big brother will give you 3. Then the big Billy Goat Gruff came along. That will be 3 peanut butter sandwiches, please. But he did not have any sandwiches either. I have been tricked. No sandwiches. Sorry, mister. Then you may not cross. The Billy Goat Gruff got very mad. Uh-oh, he knocked me right off my own bridge. Luckily, a reporter was there. He snapped a picture. When everyone saw it, they got mad. I picked them a peck of pickled peppers. They never paid me. They took one of my pumpkins. I let them stay overnight in my shoe. They never paid me.
How did Brock do with that alliteration
Hey.
there, folks?
Don't make fun of me. They broke into our house and ate all the porridge. We figured it out. The 3 Billy Goats Gruff were cheap. Cheap, cheap. You said it. I had an idea. To pay everyone back, they would start a free lawn service. You want us to eat your grass? Now everybody is happy. Time for a peanut butter sandwich. The end.
Why, Brock, that was an excellent story.
I agree.
All right, this is for real good night, though. I want you to go to bed. I want you to get a good night's sleep. Brock, do you have any suggestions for them when they take their test tomorrow? These
Yes.
are all brilliant children, by the way.
Read your instructions. Read them twice.
Oh, I wish Kennedy was on here. Brock is so handsome.
Thank you, Christian.
Ruben said so as well. Okay. I love you, my little dumplings. Sleep tight. Don't let the bed bugs bite. And I will see you in the morning. I will come and get you early. I forgot to tell you guys that. I'll come and get you early from the gym. Okay? Bye-bye.